Lately, we've seen lots and lots of Chinese SUVs coming into our market, be it from Chery, JQ and even Haval. But today we got something special because we finally got this. This is of course the GWM Tank 300, and I personally think this is a game changer for Chinese cars in Malaysia. Let me explain. Washer Muklis, Wan Yin Lai, Caricarzs. So, unlike many other Chinese SUVs or crossover out there, which are typically just a family car that's been jacked up to look like an SUV, the GWM Tank 300 is a proper blue blood 4x4 SUV because it actually underpins a leather frame chassis that's been developed by GWM themselves. And as you can see from where I'm standing, you can see this car is quite big because it measures over 4.7 meters long and it's actually about the same size as the Toyota Fortuner. So you go figure how big it really is. But in terms of design, you can see it incorporates lots of the designs of the older 4x4 SUVs into one, as you can see at the front here. The Tank 300 gets a pretty retro-inspired front look, featuring this rounded LED headlights and this commanding front grille and this juxtaposed front bumper. Overall design, it looks like a mix between the G-Wagon, the Land Cruiser 70 and even the Lada Niva, don't you think? Alright, from the side you can see the Tank 300 looks somewhat similar to the Jeep Wrangler thanks to its squared off flat out fenders here that's connected to the side step here, which is quite large and really helpful for you to jump inside the car. And you can see the roof line is quite squarish and it comes with this proper roof rail so that you can install some accessories up here. But more importantly, check out the wheels. It comes with just 18-inch alloy wheels shot in this Michelin Primacy HT tires. So this is not a proper off-road tires, but it's okay for a good balance of on and off-road usage. It's quite good. And at the back, you can see the Tank 300 gets this pretty flat out square-ish tailgate with LED taillights, and more importantly, of course, you got this exposed mount for the rear spare wheel here, which is actually full size and it actually comes with the reverse camera down here. And from at one glance, the car looks like a G-Wagon from the back, do you think? Once you get inside the Tank 300 cabin, you can see how premium and how luxurious this off-road capable SUV really is, because it is brimming with all the luxury tags and amenities, but at the same time, it's still got some rugged edges to it to make it a bearable 4x4 SUV. Okay, for example, at the front here, you get these two 12.8-inch screens that one is for the infotainment, one is for the meter cluster. The infotainment supports Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, but you still need to use cable. But at least you got 9-speaker infinity sound system, which sounds quite good. And the instrument cluster is quite intuitive, it's full color, and it is nice looking, although you don't get any shooting up here. Okay, at the front here, at the aircon vent, you can see it looks very similar to a certain German off-roader, if you know what I mean. But you still got physical controls and buttons for the aircon, which is quite nice to see in a Chinese car. Okay, at the central console, you get wireless charging pad, 2 USB charging ports, and this jet fighter side gear shifter, which is quite nice, but it's okay to use. It's not that difficult. But you also got all the buttons and dials for the off-road and dive remotes and whatnot, which is a good thing to see. Same goes to the steering wheel, which is you got these buttons for the infotainment, one for the ADAS function, and you also get this metal pedal shifters behind here, which is quite premium and quite nice looking. And of course, you got this leather seats, which is Napa leather. Actually, it's quite nice. It is powered, ventilated and heated, but at the same time, the floor mats are still made of rubber or silicone because of course, you're going off-road with this car, you're going to get lots of muds and scuffs on your boots. So once you get inside the car, you don't need to worry about cleaning the carpet because this is quite easy to wash. And of course, being a Chinese car, of course, it comes with a sunroof. Life at the back seat of the Tank 300 is quite comfortable and spacious. Of course, this is a 5-seater car with a mid-size SUV size, so you got plenty of space at the back here. Okay, the front seat adjusts to my driving position. I'm 175 cm tall. As you can see, I've got plenty of leg room, very ample headroom, and because of the seat, it's actually quite wide. You can actually sit 3 adults comfortably because you got no central tunnel here, so 3 adults at the back, no problem. Okay, of course, you get dedicated aircon vents, USB charging ports, and you also get this grab bar, which is helpful. You want to jump inside the car because this car is quite tall, so with the side step and the grab bar, getting in and out of this car should be no problem, even for elderly folks. Alright, speaking of boot space, you can see thanks to its large facade, the Tank 300 gets a pretty sizable boot space. Of course, this being a 5-seater, you got 400 liters of space down here, and you can expand it to over 1600 liters when you fold the rear seats. And this being an off-road capable car with some off-road bits, you can see it comes with the cargo netting and this hook for you to hang up your stuff in case the 400 liters boot space is not enough. But in case you need more space, just install the roof rack. Hiding beneath the hood of the Malaysian spec Tank 300 is a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. Yes, this is a petrol engine. Mind you, the Tank 300 also comes with diesel and V6 variants for the international market, but we only get the 2-litre 4-banger at least for now. So this lamp outputs 220 PS and 380 Newtons of torque, and it's mated to an 8-speed automatic gearbox supplied by ZF. Yes, you got that right. This is the same ZF that supply gearboxes for things like BMW M3 and many other sports cars in the world. Okay, of course, this is a proper 4x4 SUV. It's got its own proprietary 4-wheel drive system, not all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive system with front and rear diff locks and transfer case and whatnot. On paper, it looks very promising. Let's have a drive. Alright, so now we're behind the wheel of the Tank 300. So for off-road, we're just going to focus on on-road driving, because for off-road challenges, we actually done a separate video for that, where we took this car into the M4 track off-road challenge, and it can handle all the obstacles there in a very nice and very easy manner. Okay, in terms of on-road, the first thing you notice about the Tank 300 is just the power. The power delivery is very smooth. It's got ample power, because many people complain this is a petrol engine, not a diesel. People are afraid that it's going to be not torquey enough for this size of a car. But for me, no problem. Power delivery is quite smooth, and especially the gear shift, because the 8-speed ZF gearbox performs wonderfully in this car and in this setup. So on highway also, this car is quite comfortable and quite nice, because I can just accelerate and overtake any cars easily, and even on hill climb, because I took this car all the way from KL to KB, passing through the KL Karak highway, the Genting hill climb and everything. It can handle all those things in a very confident and in a very easy manner. But what's impressive also in terms of handling, because like many other leather frame SUVs, handling is not their best strong suit, but not for the Tank 300 here, because this car drives pretty well for a tall riding SUV like this. You can, of course, you're gonna feel a bit of body roll and everything when you go in corners, but it's okay. It's more than capable. Definitely better than many 4x4 pickup trucks I've driven before. But one thing also good about this car is in terms of the comfort level, because this car, of course, they're gonna cater it to lifestyle-oriented users also. So you can actually daily on this car very nicely, because the NVH level, the comfort level, suspension is quite nice. It's not too shaky, it's not too vibrating for the rear passengers at the back. And of course, NVH is also quite nice, because you got double glazed windows, and then the build quality of the car is quite nice. So minimal wind noise, tire noise also, there's not too much. So it is really quite good here. But of course, the only down point about this car is actually, no surprises, the fuel consumption, because the 2-litre turbo petrol engine is 130 engine, mind you, because full tank is about 130 ringgit, because it got a 75 litres fuel tank, and I only managed to get just above 500 kilometers from a single full tank, which is quite pricey, quite a big price to pay for this size of car. But that's why I said, if only we get the diesel variant, this car will be a near perfect 4x4 SUV for you to buy. But even with that being said, this is a very nice driving 4x4 SUV that you can daily, you can drive it aggressively on highways and on B roads, but at the same time, of course, it can off-road. Okay, when it comes to driving ergonomics, I would happy to report that thanks to its liberal use of buttons and physical control, this car actually feels quite at home, especially for more traditional off-road drivers, because most of them are pretty getting used to buy older or to drive older 4x4 SUVs where you get all the physical controls for the gear shifter. And same goes to this, because you got physical buttons for the steering wheel, for the 4H, for the off-road driving modes, everything. So it is quite good. But unfortunately, some of the driving settings are still hidden behind the infotainment screen. So you need to spend some time with the screen to adjust some of the driver settings, so that can get a bit annoying. But other than that, nothing much to complain. Okay, in terms of safety, this being a Chinese car, it is prim with both active and passive safety features. On the active front, you get ADAS functions like ACC, you got stop and go, you got blind spot monitor, which was quite nice, and you got lane keeping assist, rear cross fit alert, also quite nice. You got 360 camera, but dare I say, the lane keeping assist can get quite aggressive at times, because yes, if you just veer off a little bit, it can get quite aggressive and correct it to your lane, which is a safe thing to do, but at the same time, it can get quite annoying for some drivers, especially if you want to go off-road. So if you want to go off-road, you better just shut down all the other functions, so that you can just traverse through all the rough surfaces if you do it. But other than that, safety is not an issue. This is a Chinese car, you get all the bells and whistles, but it can get annoying at times. But of course, the only notable jarring downside is that some of the settings are still hidden inside the infotainment. If GWM decides to get rid of that, I think most off-road enthusiasts would be appreciative of that a bit more. But other than that, no problem. So with all that being said, who's the perfect buyer for the GWM Tank 300? Is it more suitable for off-road enthusiasts, or is it a good car for you and your family as a daily people mover? My answer is both of them, because the GWM Tank 300 perfectly blends off-road capabilities with luxe and daily usability. What's not to like? Off-road enthusiasts can take this car to go off-road and to go on their adventures in a very fun and usable manner. But at the same time, family people like you and I can just use this car for the people mover and for go to travel out of state in a relatively easy manner. But of course, paying 250,000 for a Chinese car can be quite a stretch, considering that many other cheaper options out there is available. But of course, you don't get all the amenities like in the Tank 300, and of course, you also don't get the 4x4 capabilities that this behemoth harnesses. So yes, in case Ford or even Toyota decide to make something similar to this, I think people out there would really buy this. But you don't have to wait with it, because GWM Tank 300 is here. So why don't you try it?